What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I got to have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliating scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun. And a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Hanley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Hanley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Hanley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Hanley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and we are live here straight from Detroit. I will be in multiple different cities this weekend. Next weekend, we got the Patreon meetup. That's going to be absolutely lit, and we doing awesome things. So thank you, everybody, for continuing to rock with me. It is Monday, July 3rd, 2023, year of our Lord, and we are live streaming. More importantly, we will be live streaming tomorrow because it's the 4th of July does not mean that we are not going to be getting that bag and we're not going to be taking care of business and you're not going to get this morning live stream and we're going to be on top of things. So just because you think it's a holiday and just because you're going to be laying in bed, I know my bag chasers, they're not going to be laying in bed. Bag chasers see it as an opportunity to really get a leg up on everybody else. So just because you're going to be laying in bed watching a live stream does not mean that you have permission to lay in bed and watch the live stream, especially if you're a part of the Patreon. Speaking of the Patreon, make sure you guys tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. The best day. Now, y'all had 2 days. You had Saturday, you had Sunday. I've seen a lot of people join the Patreon over the weekend. You had Saturday and you had Sunday, right? And Saturday and Sunday was your opportunity to join on the best days. It's always the first. The second best day to join is the second. But now you have a Monday and you have me sitting here reminding you. And as a matter of fact, I am going to drop a Patreon exclusive video today. This afternoon is already scheduled to go out. I have so much content that I'm putting together for you guys, and it's going to be awesome. And I am also releasing the exact location. You have the location as far as the city. Inside of the Patreon, you have the date, but you do not have the exact location because we wanted to make sure that there wasn't nobody scheming and trying to get the location before they were supposed to get the location before the new month. That's why we made it the middle of the month. And you will get the exact location and a Patreon update of the meetup in New York, and it's going to be absolutely awesome. So I got a really nice guest list of people that's coming. Of course, you know it's going to be lit. We always going to be at capacity. It's going to be awesome. So you definitely want to make sure that you check the Patreon. If you are not a bag chaser, the link is in the description. And hopefully it's pinned to the top of the chat. I don't think it's pinned to the top of the chat. Let me double check to make sure that the Patreon link is pinned to the top of the chat. Also, shout out to Teach Hanley while we go ahead and check that. Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We shooting a new Teach Hanley commercial this weekend. So that's going to be awesome, and that is going to debut for you next week. So again, guys, we got a lot of good things going on. And if you're not a part of the Bag Chasers, if you're not a part of the Teach Hanley crew, I made sure that I did not, if you notice, I have not put memberships up on this channel. I have not put memberships up on this channel, so the link to the Patreon is pinned to the top of the chat now. I have not put memberships up on this channel. I have not put memberships up on the Anton Daniels channel. The only memberships that is available is for Fight Club. So that's exclusive. That is ran by Aaron O. Shout out to Aaron O. The only memberships that's available on any of these channels is Fight Club. And I make sure, and I'm Peter Investor, we putting together the sports channel that launches this month. I made sure that I did not put memberships, and I'm gonna be reading super chat shortly, on this channel, the Millionaire Morning Show, or the Anton Daniels channel, because this is not a cash grab. Anytime that you guys make a donation, anytime that you guys hit me off with a Cash App, a PayPal, a super chat like you guys are doing right now, is because you guys see value in what it is that we bring here. I never ask, but I'm always appreciative of what it is that you contribute, right? And I did not put memberships up here because all of the information and all of the exclusive information is going to go inside of the Patreon. It has been, it will be, and it will continue to do so. And so I don't put memberships on this channel because I want to give you guys as much value as possible. I've never sold a course. I've never actually taken any money from anybody. I've never, ever given you anything except for my own life experiences, documented it, showed it inside of the Patreon, show you my W-2s, live my life like an open book. You know who my wife is. You know what my family is like. You've seen my mother. You've seen my bank accounts. You've seen my brokerage accounts. And so all of that information is still available for everybody inside of the Patreon, including the requests for certain subjects for me to cover and certain people that I'm bringing on the platform in order to add value into your life. So if you are not a part of the Bag Chasers, I encourage you to do so. I do not plan to add memberships to this channel. And we have new merch launching, a new merch line and new merch launching this month. So we got a lot going on. I think I'm going to give the exclusive over to the Bag Chasers, and then we're going to move it over to the general public. So, again, thank you guys for continuing to rock with me. I appreciate you. And, again, Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. Now, we got a lot to cover today. I want to cover Baltimore. I want to cover ESPN. I want to cover student loans. I want to cover the new immigration law in Florida that is going to be affecting a lot of people. But before we do so, I want to talk about credit, okay? I want to talk about credit because a lot of people overvalue credit. They significantly overvalue credit. Oh, and I also want to get into truck drivers. I know I got a lot of truck drivers. Yeah, you've seen it, Peter Investor. I want to get into truck drivers. I want to break that down also if we have time. But first, let me mine this out. A lot of people are very much overvaluing credit. Oh my God. Why is my wife signed in as me inside of on the chat? Said it's me, Rita. I'm not sure how I'm signed in as Anton. Honey, that's because you manage my emails and you probably signed in as me, right? I'll get to that in a minute. I'm going to be reading super chat shortly. Thank you to everybody that's contributing to the platform. But a lot of people are overvaluing credit. And one of the reasons why you see so many repossessions and foreclosures are up, and even conversations when it comes to relationships, people often say things like, I have to check his credit score, or I want to know what his credit score is like, and all of this other type of stuff, right? And that to me is a red flag. In relationships, when you're getting to know somebody, let's say that they take you out or you taking them out and y'all at lunch, y'all go on a coffee run, or you want to trick off and you decide to take her to Ocean Prime and you run up the tab, you run up the check. You run up the tab. and you run up the check and y'all having a conversation. Let's say you getting to know her. And now y'all have gotten to the point where y'all feel comfortable having conversations about money, going into things extensively about what you do. Y'all already know how many kids each other got. You trying to date a single baby mama, whatever, right? I'm not going to get into the relationship talk because that's going to be for Wednesday. We'll get into that. We got a live stream tonight with Q. So the Q show is popping off tonight. Make sure y'all tap in on the other channel, right? Rita says she back. Timeout says absolutely check the credit score. For what? For what? Does that indicate anything? What does that tell you? When a woman says, what's your credit score? Or vice versa. You ask her, what's her credit score or whatever. What is that supposed to tell you? What does it tell you? Does the context matter? Does the score matter? Does the number matter? What is it supposed to tell you? Let's say that the person has a 740 credit score. What does that mean? Does that mean that they got money? Just curious. Does it mean that their credit utilization is on par? What if you add another factor in and you say, okay, you make $100,000 a year and you got good credit? Then what? Let's say you have no missed payments. What does that mean? I'll give you this, right? Here's an important thing that you really need to start paying attention to, okay? Lifestyle. Lifestyle is 10 times more important than somebody's credit score. All credit does, what up, Manny Man? What's up, big dog? All credit does is it shows that you'll work hard enough to be able to make your payments on time. That's it. You are a gamification opportunity for the banks. What if you got good credit, but you have a lot of things financed? You got a car note, you got a mortgage, you got credit cards, student loans, but you're paying everything on time. Does that also justify you being a baller? Does that mean that you make a lot of money, or does it mean that you pay a lot of interest over to the banks? Because more important than the credit score, I'd rather talk to, if I was y'all, a person that don't have no credit whatsoever, has a decent income, is responsible, able to maintain employment, and then more importantly, has a lower lifestyle, because that is something that you can build on. You can't build on good credit. Sure, you can run out and finance some stuff. Sure, you can get approved in order to get a business loan. Sure, you can go over there and get a mortgage. But if you don't understand real estate, what good is it? All you're going to do is put yourself in a position to where you have to pay more in interest over to the banks because you don't understand how money works. Credit is for poor people. Credit, largely, not entirely, obviously, there's different context to add into it. Credit is for people, right, to finance and spend more on things that they don't truly need in order to impress people that don't care anything about them. Now, of course, there's additional context. You could be a business owner and you could be thriving, and then you can have an expansion opportunity in which you tap into credit in order to make more money long term, right? You could be a real estate holder and then pull out equity in that property in order to finance a new property, making sure that you put that 20% down in order to buy another real estate investment. And then obviously you got another cash flow on property, so on and so forth. Much different than what it is that I teach inside of the Patreon as far as, you know, the reverse snowball method that I teach y'all, that I have a conversation with y'all inside of the Patreon. But for 98% of the rest of the population that's not looking to use it in order to expand, for 98% of the population that's not using it in order to continue to grow their business. For 98% of the population that's not leveraging it in order to build assets and resources, it's just an opportunity for you to pay for things in order to impress people that don't care anything about you. Which is why I then tell you to stay. Listen, ladies, y'all looking at the wrong guys and y'all looking at the wrong metrics. If you see that guy and he's driving that Toyota Camry and his lifestyle and his car's paid off, right? And his lifestyle is not matching his income because his income is exponentially more than what you seeing according to that lifestyle, right? He didn't have lifestyle creep. That's the guy that you want. That's the guy that you want. Because then it means he has options. It means that he has the option to go and buy what he want to buy, but he's disciplined enough not to do it because he's more focused on building assets that then pay for his lifestyle. That's the guy that you want. You want the guy that has options. It's the same thing when it comes to attractiveness. Do you want the person that's leveraged to their eyeballs, but then can show that they can meet the expectation as far as continuing to maintain what it is that he has going on? Or do you want the person that has options, but then choose to continue to rock with you? Women largely want men that other women want, but then they want the man to actually want them and then to reject everybody else, which means he has the option to do what he want to do, but he chose to rock with you, which makes it much more valuable. And then you feel, you feel loved. How is it any different from your resources? How is it any different from how it is that you handle your money, right? When I tell people who you are at work is who you are at church, is who you are in your household, is who you are in every aspect of your life, there's going to be little hints and pieces and clues. And that's why I tell y'all to network, not to date, because when you date, you get the presentation layer. But when you network, you can actually see how people are operating in other aspects of their life, which then give you a hint of how it is that they're going to treat you inside of that relationship. So when we talking about relationships, when we talking about credit, when we talking about all of these different things, finances, resources, how you vote, whatever, it all comes back down to the money, but it's also a reflection of how you're going to be in every aspect of your life. If you have a level of discipline, then that probably means that you have a certain type of discipline to also vet out things effectively and not be the quick trigger when it comes to how you're going to do a business decision. If you're able to not get finessed and tricked off when it comes to the woman, right? If you're not tricking and leading with your money, that also means that you probably know how to vet out for good character when it comes to being able to determine whether or not you want to have a certain person inside of your network. If you don't find yourself at block parties at 12:30 a.m. and getting shot at like over in Baltimore, we about to get there, then it's probably a strong possibility that you on Fight Club late at night and you're not finding yourself in a difficult position to have to make an adjustment based off of your circumstances because you're the type of woman that like to be proactively protected instead of having a man crash out for you. Everything is interconnected. It's just like the movie Avatar. We all interconnected, and if you pay attention to one thing, you'll be able to get a clue of how somebody is rocking out in something else. If she running over there and getting a BBL, it's probably a strong indication that she needs validation from outside resources, and she don't have the discipline to actually do anything herself, and so she's taking shortcuts as to how it is that she can get to the results, which she probably do it in every other aspect of her life. Credit is cool. It's nothing wrong with having good credit. But it's not the picture that you need in order to actually make a smart decision as to who it is that you're going to rock with. And more importantly, stop leaning on credit in order to justify your lifestyle. But more importantly, make sure that you have it in order to continue to get access to things and then capitalize off of it on the back end. That's all I'm asking. All right? That's all I'm saying. So I love you. I appreciate you. I just wanted to give you that because it's a lot of people and a lot of conversations and people don't know what the hell they talking about when it comes to credit, when it comes to relationships and how all of it is interconnected and how it always comes back to the money. But I'm a cook for y'all. I'm going to do it. Let me get some of these super chats popping off and then we're going to go from there. So shout out to all of the bag chasers. Again, make sure you tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Mike Jones is in the building with the early 20 ball. My first super chat of the day said, "Good morning, Anton. Hope you and the family are having a wonderful time celebrating the 4th. As for me, just working during the holiday, getting this holiday money." Me too. I'm going to be right here. I'm going to be on both laptops cooking up with y'all. Shout out to Mike Jones in the building. I appreciate you, big dog. My dog Cliff is in the building. Shout out to Cliff. Says, Anton, you made a comment last night about hygiene and everybody was quiet. These guys need to start taking care of themselves for real. Hey, if y'all have not checked out that Fight Club episode last night, go and check out Fight Club. I talked about hygiene, something that people are very, very uncomfortable talking about. Shout out to Raphael. Says that last Patreon post was something, coach. Hey, don't tell them. Don't tell them about that because they don't want to have that conversation. Shout out to Raphael and all of the bag chasers. Link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Shout out to legendary coaches in the building. Says new to the bag chasers and as of this weekend, looking forward to growing with and contributing to the family. Hey, shout out to legendary coach. Shout out to all of the new bag chasers. When y'all jump into the Patreon, of course, I want y'all to work through the videos, but I also want you guys to join the Discord. The link to the Discord is attached or in the description of any of the most recent Patreon videos. Click the link, read more, join the Discord, and then become a part of the group and get active because this is your network, and these are the people that you're going to wind up doing business with. These are the people that's going to get you the government contracts. They're going to be the ones that help you get into the fields that you want to get into. These are people that's within your city that you probably going to wind up dating. Shout out to the last Patreon meetup where we linked up with a bunch of people that actually got married together. Whole nother conversation. But shout out to legendary coach. I appreciate you for joining the bag chasers and participating in what it is that we got going on, my friend. You are absolutely awesome. My dog Ash is in the building. Ash says, AD, respectfully, I love Fight Club, but did not understand the rules. To boot, Fatty. He wanted to get Fatty up out of there. A panelist of the show. Anybody can join up on as a panelist. I super chatted 50, then someone countered with a 50. I recountered with 100, and then I was countered again with 50. So I recounted with 200, and I was told I needed 300. So basically what they were saying is if you wanted to completely remove Fatty from the show completely, there's levels to remove him from the show. Obviously, 20 is for 15-minute timeout. 50 is for an hour, I believe. And I forgot what the tiers are. 100 is something, whatever, right? But then it can get credit because people can buy people back. But then if you're a made man, there's a completely different set of rules. So a made man is a membership, a portion of the membership that allows for people, they can only get booted so many different times unless you want to remove them completely from the show altogether, right? Which is a whole nother tier, right? So Ash, I'll break it down for you. Hey, Ash, send me an email. I want to connect with you. I want to have a conversation with you. Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. I appreciate you, Ash. And he also threw another 20 up in the collection plate. And he said, 80 apologies for asking the question off topic. I was unable to get Aaron of Fight Club to explain the rules in depth. Again, apologies. Happy 4th of July. God bless you and your family. Hey, Ash, send me an email. I'm going to hit you up. I'm going to give you a phone call. You're one of the biggest supporters of the show. So I feel like I owe you a phone call, too, just to be able to tap in with you. Shout out to you. Also, shout out to Jari says, shout out to B More. They need to work on their aim. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. We going to get there. So shout out to Jari. Shout out to, let me give a big head up to Brian Horsley on Cash App. Also, Mike That Dude. I want to give a shout out to... Gone Postal, MJP, shout out to MJP. I want to give a shout out to Ray Sean. I'm going to be calling you today. T-Mac, I'm going to be hitting you up. Fantasia. Shout out to everybody, man. Oh, and shout out to Brian Horsley with that 100 ball also on Cash App. Absolutely appreciate it. Also, let me give a shout out to, is that Delazla? Delazla says a few good indicators. Hold on, let me get you. I got you. A few good indicators to where the economy is going is looking at car repos. Yep, we broke this down last week. Said foreclosures and commercial real estate. I think commercial real estate and repos are more important indicators earlier on than car repos. I'm sorry. Car repos and commercial real estate is more important than foreclosures, than residential foreclosures earlier on. She says, when these student loan payments start, there's going to be a lot of opportunity, and I agree. But the opportunity is going to come a little bit later because you got to give people a little bit of time to default. But a lot of people are also not going to be paying their student loans. They're going to go into forbearance more. So we'll deep dive into that later. I'll get into that. Shout out to Delasia. I appreciate you. Brock is in the building. Shout out to Brock. Says, good morning, Pastor Time Dog. Question. I'm going to revamp my channel and turn it into a financial motivation type of space. Do you have your permission to use one of your core phrases? Yo, use whatever you want to, Brock. Use whatever you want to, bro. You cool with me. You my dog. Use whatever you want to. I appreciate you. Treehouse says, don't go in too hard on my city, AD. Listen, I appreciate the super chat, but Baltimore is going to be your turn. But before we get into Baltimore, yo, students are devastated. We going into Baltimore next. Students are absolutely devastated at student loans. So if you guys are not familiar, on Friday morning specifically, the Supreme Court, actually last week in general, they addressed a lot of different issues, including the alphabet community advocating for people to have to do things against their will, especially if you're a small business owner. They also addressed affirmative action, but more importantly, the thing that you guys were waiting on the most, they talked about student loan forgiveness. Now, Biden, we know, had told y'all and promised y'all in his campaign speech and all the way leading up to the election. And he said, listen, guys, feel the burn. Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren is behind me. Black women, white women, all of the minorities, the people that are a part of the culture. They said, listen, we want you to cancel our student loans because we run in an oppression Olympics. We think that the system is set up against us. And we want you to address this. All right. And so over the weekend, the Supreme Court said, nah, come on back to the front of the congregation. I need you to pay your You decided not to go to community college. You decided that you wanted to run in the Victim Olympics. You wanted to go to the public university, go to your private schools and your private universities. You wanted to party it up. You wanted to take out the student loans. Huh? You wanted to do it? You wanted to lean into your victim oppression in the Olympics? All right. This is what we gonna do. Pay your student loans off. Pay them. No forgiveness, no 10, no 15 balls, no nothing. Now, Biden then countered, and I'm going to share that with you guys shortly. Biden then countered, and they said, well, we're going to give you a little bit of a new plan since the Supreme Court don't agree with what it is that you guys voted for, so we're not going to actually deliver anything to you guys. But we're going to give you a new plan. But first, let's get the reaction from this liberal and this young man who seems very smart. He has on glasses. He's a nerd. He has white collars. He has his collared shirt on, and he has no lineup. Okay? Looks like somebody that I would see on the street preaching the word of God, a Hebrew Israelite with the purple and gold and having that shingles on the bottom of his shirt. But I want to have this conversation. And before we get into the new plan with Biden, I want you to see what the reaction of some of these people are as far as what it is that they were promised and what they didn't get delivered.
Jonathan McGee, a graduate. He got his undergrad from Western Illinois University, his master's from Georgetown University, and his MBA from Loyola. He got a lot of degrees, brother.
He got a lot of degrees. Let's rewind that. I want you to hear the context behind the person that is going to be holding us rich folk, bag chasers, and Biden accountable, and the Supreme Court, by the way, of what it is that he chose to do. So he chose to get educated, one of the most educated. Remind me of a strong black woman. One of the most educated, decided that he wanted to go and get his degree. This is what his background looked like. Now, when y'all come in the door, I'm going to come in and I'm going to say, yo, I'm just a lowly C student. I'm just a lowly C student. He's going to walk in the door and y'all going to be more impressed with him. And you know why? You know why you're going to be more impressed with him? Because he has all the education. Watch this.
Graduate. He got his undergrad from Western Illinois University, his master's from Georgetown University.
Western Illinois undergrad, master's Georgetown.
And his MBA from Loyola.
MBA from Loyola. That means he's probably from what? Chicago. He's probably from Chicago if I got that right. Okay, so he got an MBA, master's, bachelor's. I'm just a lowly community college student. All right, let's go.
Got a lot of degrees, brother. Listen, I want to ask
it's
you
George
here.
Washington, too.
Gotcha. Well, look, you've been following this closely. You heard today's ruling. I mean, how does this decision personally affect you?
Well, as someone, Alex, with significant student loan debt, over $150,000 in student.
This man said he has over $150,000 in student loan debt. Now, listen, I'm not one to just rag on people, right? We're using this as an example, but I also want to give you solutions. You don't want to hear my solutions. You don't want to join the military so that you can get your education paid for. You don't want to go to community college in order to actually pay for the first 2 years and then transfer over to a major university in order to mitigate how much money you spending in order to get that bachelor's degree. That's going to say the same thing as the person that went there for 4 years and got a bunch of stuff. You don't want to go into a field that's actually going to help you pay off your student loans faster. You want to go and get your liberal arts degree, your underwater basket weaving degree. And then they want to sit here in the chat and say, well, no, we're not going to talk about going in on black men getting educated. Yes, we are. Because just because you got a degree don't mean that you're not stupid. You stupid. You dumb. You dumb. You don't want to work your way through college, get your job, work full time, lower your lifestyle, make sure that you allocate all of your resources over into paying for your tuition on a regular basis. You don't want to do that. You wanted to get the student loan forgiveness after you went and got $150,000 in student loans. Okay. I want to see what his perspective is.
Loan that I was looking for this lifeline, quite frankly. I work every day, but with the economic conditions, with inflation, it was something that I looked forward to. I've worked in the public sector. I've tried to get the public service loan forgiveness, and quite frankly, higher education is just too expensive. And so, it's a bill that I've considered now a bill for life, and that shouldn't be the case.
No, it should be the case. It very much. Hey, he said, I work every day. How many hours you put in? Look. You don't get saying I work every day is like saying I take care of my kids. You don't get credit for doing the thing that you're supposed to do. You a grown fucking man. You got 2 legs, 2 arms, you got 4 eyes, and 1 mouth. But you're doing more talking than you paying attention to and listening. And you sitting there talking about, I work every day. You supposed to work every day. I bet you I work double, sometimes even triple of what you do. I bet you he taking 4th of July off and having a good time. And I'm going to be right here cooking, working, in the studio, grinding, getting that check and running that bag up. But he's sitting here talking about I was looking for a lifeline. My nigga, you done spent like 10 years in school. You spent like 10 years in school. What you talking about a lifeline? I call him a single baby mama. I call this man, honest, when I say single baby mamas from now on, I'm not just talking about women with a kid. I'm talking about the spirit of a black woman that is a single baby mama complaining. And again, it's the difference between a wholesome woman that may have fallen into a situation where she's taking accountability for her circumstance and she's not blaming it on the government. She's not blaming it on the man. I call this man a single baby mama. This is the spirit of a man that was probably raised by a single baby mama, then being passed on as a generational curse to him. A single baby mama. I bet you he got good credit though. I bet you he's making a payment based off of his income. Income-based repayment plan.
Well, and look, I mean, this also comes on the heels of that affirmative action decision. I'm curious, I mean, do you think that race played a role in your admission?
We about to get into the race talk. It's race time.
As an undergrad or as you were working towards your MBA?
Alex, I've gone to 3 predominantly white institutions, and most of them had small populations of students of color, especially Black people. So I'd be crazy not to think that it played a factor. And in many cases, those obstacles would have been there if we didn't have.
Now he's in the victim Olympics. Now he's in the oppression Olympics. So you chose to go to predominantly white institutions, which affirmative action has been done away with now over the last week. Shout out to the Supreme Court. Affirmative action has been done away with. You chose to go to these institutions. Hey, shout out to Richard Dixon. I got more on my wrist than you spent on your bitch. Shout out to Richard Dixon in the chat. I got more on my wrist than you spent on your bitch. Hey, we not taking no prisoners on the 4th of July. We celebrating American independence. Get this. Hey, somebody get this motherfucker up out of my chat. Moderators, Richard Dixon. This nigga don't know what we busting down. These niggas have no clue. They have no clue. Richard Dixon in the chat is a single baby mama. We have no mercy on these people today.
Have an affirmative action policy in place. This is devastating. I got a little brother. I got a little sister, who all want to go to college and be in college. And, we know that education is the key economic driver for opportunity. And so, my mom's an educator. We all love higher education in college. And it's unfortunate that it's not only cost prohibitive, but now race can play a role in whether you'll be admitted into a university.
So not only do they want to make bad decisions for themselves, not only, listen, him, his mama, his sister, his brother. Hey, remember when y'all was coming up and your parents said, you gonna be the first one to graduate from college? And y'all thought that that was an accomplishment and they didn't add the context because they didn't know. And so your single baby mama told you that it was going to make sense for you to run up a bunch of debt in order to get your degree to make yourself seem more important than you really are. But she never told you that it was important to get the bag and stand on your square and be a masculine person. They never gave you the full context and information. They never gave you the context and information. And so he's running in the Victim Olympics. These are y'all leaders. This is a man that has a bachelor's, a master's, a MBA from some of the most prestigious universities in the United States of America. But he doesn't know to then go back to his people and say, yo, you don't want to continue to go down the path that I'm going down because Biden ain't going to save you. And I'm running in the Victim Olympics. I told y'all he looked like one of them people that be standing on the corner.
University of your choice.
Switching gears back to
shout out to Real Estate Jay Jones. I appreciate you.
What's your payment strategy going forward to pay off this debt?
Now we've got the most credentialed man that we can find, right? And now he's being asked what his payoff strategy is. Let's see what it is.
That's a great question, Alex. I think for me, of course, trying to budget and figure out how to implement this new bill because we've been having relief for the last 2 years. Thinking about investment strategies, I've started to think about ways that I can put money in the stock market and 401ks and high interest accounts.
This dude said, I'm going to start budgeting more effectively. I'm going to start putting money in 401ks and high interest accounts. And I'm going to start investing in the stock market. Oh, man. Yo, these are the leaders. Shout out to the super chats. I'm going to be reading those shortly. These are the leaders of the new world. Whenever you hear a person that start off, most of the time, and they say, you know what? Well, that was a great question. Then, you know what happens? They trying to figure out how they going to answer that question because they never anticipated ever actually accounting for what it is that they ran up.
Maybe try to use that interest to bring it down. But the fact of the matter is Alex.
This dude said, I'm going to use a high interest checking account, savings account to help bring down my debt load. Jesus Christ.
you owe as much as I do, the interest alone is just going to continue to keep you in debt, right? And that impacts whether I can buy a house, whether I can buy a car. And again, it feels like this burden that is very hard to get rid of, no matter how much money you make, right? So that's my strategy. I don't know how great it is, but of course,
This dude needs to come over here to the Millionaire Morning Show and come to the front of the congregation so we can get his life together. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. So you telling me you didn't, in everything you do in life, whether you go buy a car, whether you go buy a home, you're telling me you didn't do the math to try to figure out what's the cost-benefit analysis, what's going to be the return on investment, how much money you going to have to spend and figure it out afterwards because the federal government didn't even fucking forgive your student loan. Listen, even if the government decided, even if Biden was able to get his student loan forgiven, he was only going to give you 20 bands based off of your income, 10 bands, and then 20 bands based off of your income. You won't have to pay the other 130. You still going to have to pay the other 130. I don't understand what the conversation is that we're having right now.
Also looking at my employer and trying to figure out if there's any options there.
Yeah.
I want you to get a better job. I want you to work 2 jobs. I want you to work 3 jobs. I don't want you to get no pussy. I don't want you to sit here having no kids. I don't want you to sit here begging and asking and running into victim Olympics. I don't want you voting. Don't vote. These people are then determining who's in the election chair. Right? Who's getting elected? I don't want you doing nothing. I want every day, I want you working like these motherfucking immigrants that's getting kicked out of Florida right now. I want you picking cotton. I want you picking fruit. I want you picking peaches. I want you to go and get my motherfucking apples, and they better be ripe when I get them out of the grocery store. Don't pass go. Don't collect $200. Get your ass a motherfucking job that's going to pay my motherfucking student loans because I'm not going to be giving my tax dollars over to you, and you better not get an EBT card. No kids, no pussy, no nothing. Work. Beans and cornbread for you. Don't go to Ocean Prime. Don't go to no motherfucking birthday celebrations. No cookouts. No nothing for you. No nothing. That's my cornbread. Go get my motherfucking peaches. That's what you can do for me. But I'm not one to just hold you guys accountable. Thank you guys for the super chats. I'm definitely going to be reading those shortly. However, I'm not one to only highlight the dustiness. I want to give you guys some insight on what Biden's next plan is so that you guys can compare. You can prepare to be disappointed again. Are y'all ready? Y'all want to go into Biden's plan? So this was Biden's response to what was going on with student loans forgiveness. All right. Once the Supreme Court ruled, Biden said, you know what, guys? Vote for me coming up next year too, because I got a new plan for you guys, even though I knew the other one was going to fail.
And President Biden's new plan will try to use a federal law called the Higher Education Act, which can be used under certain circumstances to forgive student loan debt. Many loan recipients, though, were still processing today's decision by the Supreme Court.
We were all hopeful.
Look at all of them Skechers. You see all of them Skechers that's walking down on that campus? Them kids is broke. But you know what they doing? They decide they want to get buzzed down. They broke, but they having some sex.
But not optimistic.
Bryce Gregg just graduated from UC San Diego with an engineering degree and with about $17,000 in student loans.
See, that's not bad. He got $17,000 in student loans. The black man blaming it on a white man, and the black man got $150,000 in student loans. This man right here, this young graduate, got $17,000 in student loans. Now, I know what y'all gonna say. It's because his parents are rich. Well, then if his parents was rich, he shouldn't have been taking out student loans at all, right? But he only got 17 bands. Not tripping. Not at all. Wearing a t-shirt, probably got it straight from Amazon, got his Skechers on, got his dad shoes on, don't got a haircut, probably go to Supercuts. Let's see what his plan is.
Recognizes he's in better shape than a lot of other grads who have far more loan debt. but was still crushed by the court's ruling.
I'm extremely disappointed because we already pay so much to go to school, and it's so hard to get a job out of college, like 6 figures to get an undergraduate degree. It's frustrating.
I think the court misinterpreted the Constitution.
President
Biden said he think the court misinterpreted the Constitution. The Supreme Court. Yo, this is y'all president. Y'all president said that the Supreme Court, I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Don't worry about it. The Supreme Court misinterpreted the Constitution. Wow.
Biden also expressed frustration and within hours of the court's decision had unveiled a new plan to achieve widespread student loan forgiveness. The Higher Education Act, which dates back to 19...
They always put a nice spin on it. This is the new plan. Nice, shiny. We polishing it up right now. We already had it prepared. We didn't expect for this thing to ever pass, even though y'all voted us into the office in the first place. We already had another plan just in case it didn't pass. And we're going to lean on the Higher Education Act plan, subsidized student loan, evangelistic house of God plan to get back in office. And guys, if you don't vote for me this time, guess what? We're not going to forgive your student loans. Let's hear what the Higher Tax Education Episcopal Church plan is doing this time.
65 was designed to ensure every American, no matter their income or background, would have access to higher education.
This new path is legally sound. It's going to take longer, but in my view, it's the best path that remains to providing for many borrowers.
Now, this new path, it's going to take even longer. But in my opinion, is definitely the best option, and we going to make sure that you guys get your forgiveness eventually. This kind of remind me of Dr. Umar Johnson saying that he going to get that school built and he going to get y'all kids in there. But listen, 10 years ago, 12 years ago, we got the plan. Cool. We got the plan. We got the FBG, ABCDEFG school that's going up. Hit the Cash App. We hit the Cash App, right? And then he said, all right, cool. So eventually we're going to get this built, but we got this window broken. And we black contractors, they didn't want to work with us, and they didn't want to sell the school to us because the Catholic people said that black people don't deserve schools. All right, cool. Allegedly, right? That's my interpretation of it. And then he said, listen, I know y'all gave it to me 10 years ago, and I know your kid was 10 and now they 20, but we got to make sure that we take care of the new generation because I'm going to make sure that I'm going to build this for the kids. So make sure that we continue to rock out. This is very similar. It's the same playbook. It's the same playbook, in my opinion. Biden, by the time he get out of office, he don't been then kick that can down the road. We got term limits. If he votes in, we know that the black women is going to continue to rock out with him, including the black men that's then black women. And we know that y'all going to continue to give him 2 terms. And then Kamala Harris is going to come right behind him and she going to rock out. Let's see what the new plan is, guys.
As possible.
This new process could take more than a year and would require a public hearing. It's still not...
And guess what? That's right after the election. Ain't that wild? This new plan, it's going to take at least a year. And it will probably, listen, if you voted for it, it's going to go into office right after the presidential election, and he's going to work on y'all behalf. Let's go ahead. Let's hear it.
Clear how far this new plan would go. Biden's original action had sought to forgive $10,000 for all federal student loan borrowers and up to $20,000 for low-income Pell Grant recipients.
How is this any different than the last plan? How is this any different? This look, honestly, now look, I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer. This looked like the exact same plan.
Recipients. Critics of Biden's plan, who supported the Supreme Court's decision, say student loan forgiveness on this massive scale is up to Congress to authorize.
Watch this. Hold on. Let me go back and show y'all the plan again. Give me a second. Up to $20,000 for Pell Grant recipients, $10,000 for non-Pell Grant recipients, and we only doing it up to $125,000 of your income. So anybody less than that, you qualify. How is this any different? I'm reading Super Chat shortly. How is this any different than the last plan that y'all got pitched? $10,000 for you, $20,000 for you, and as long as you're not a high income earner, as long as you're not a high value man, you get the money. It's going to take us a year to get it in office right after the election. But if you not black if you don't vote for me. How is this plan, honestly, how is this plan any different than the last one? Please tell me y'all not falling for the okie doke again. Y'all what? Y'all falling for the ooh-op shebang one more time? Jesus Christ. Shout out to my ladies. I know y'all going to vote for them because they don't have to give y'all anything. I'm not even going to continue down this path. We got other things that we got to get to, and I need to read the super chats. Make sure that y'all tapped in that Teach Hanley. 30% off your first order plus a free gift. And make sure you get into the Patreon. That way you ain't got to depend on Biden to forgive your student loans. Come rock out with us. We're going to give you the game. We're going to help you. Jesus. I can't believe y'all still falling for the okie doke. Shout out to the Wealth Building Journey is in the building. We appreciate you. Says student loans are a terrible form of an investment loan. It's basically someone declaring themselves as an asset instead of investing in actual cash flowing assets. Make it make sense. No, student loans can be cool, but it's just like any other version of credit, right? If you're there's a lot of people, right, that get roped into credit cards. This is what student loans are. From a C student's perspective. So a lot of people that get roped into credit cards, and you know what they say? Well, I'm going to pay off the balance every month, but I just wanted the points. Okay, well, I'll give you an example. I'm one of the people that don't pay interest on my credit cards, but I need it. I got to get it to get hotel rooms. I got to get it to get flights. I got to get it to get rental cars. But guess what? I pay off the balance in its entirety every single month. So it actually benefits me because I can leverage it in order to get other things and also put off what I have to use my cash for. But 99% of the rest of the population don't do that, and credit card debt is skyrocketing, right? So a lot of people go into it thinking one way, oh, I'm going to pay it off as soon as I can. Or I'll just put that on the back burner. I'm going to make a lot of money and whatever, so on and so forth. But A, they don't finish school. B, they pick a basket weaving degree. C, they take out more than they actually need. D, they don't actually have a plan for paying it back. And so they continue to kick the can down the road. And then that's what starts to inform how it is that you vote in your presidential elections. So it's like anything. It can be a good tool, but it's not meant for everybody because the imbeciles have access to it, just like the people that are intentional. Shout out to the Wealth Building Journey. I appreciate you for rocking out with me. The Lazier says, Georgetown homeboy need to listen to Dave Ramsey. Facts. Before they come over here to the Millionaire Morning Show, go ahead and start off with Dave Ramsey and then come kick it with your boy. Shout out to Roger Marine says, what do you call white culture? I did a whole week live stream on that. They ain't no better. They just as bad. Listen, I told y'all, white people are more under duress than black people. They just don't complain and it's not as vocal as you guys. They just stormed the Capitol building. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Roger Marine is in the building. Oh my fucking God. Got to persevere data TV. Shout out to Persevere Data TV. Says, I watched friends and family play in the sand while I was dropping payments on my loans. Paid them off right after they joined the Chasers. Shout out to the Bag Chasers. Shout out to all of the Patreon members. Best day to join is right now. Got the meetup coming. Got a video dropping this afternoon. Absolutely awesome. Paid them off right after I joined the Chasers. No excuses. We all got 24 hours. And what y'all doing with y'all 24 hours? Persevere Data TV is over here running the checkup. Shout out to Persevere to me unless I declared a STEM major. And guess what? What your dad did is exactly what the highest earning household income dads are doing. I majored in applied mathematics and it was the best decision that I ever made. Majored in applied mathematics, the best decision that she ever made. Shout out to Messy Mathematician. I appreciate you, love, for supporting me and holding me down. The porch session is in the building. Says you can just join the military and pay for college and actually get paid to go to college. I think all children should make mandatory civil service. Civil service should pay for all college. Uncle Tom. Shout out to Uncle Tom. We back. I seen it buffered a little bit, but we back. We rocking out. Shout out to the porch session. Also, Allie Downing is in the building with the 10 ball. Says, I have learned a lot from you, Anton. I appreciate all that you do. Bag Chasers for life. Shout out to you. I appreciate Ian is in the building. Says waiting for a bailout is just embarrassing to me. It is. It's embarrassing. Nate 2 times is in the building. Says been a Patreon member for a month now. I've been trying to get that one-on-one coaching call with you. How do I schedule one? I have a waiting list for the upcoming coaching calls. So email me at antondaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to have her look out for you, Nate. Nate, send me an email. Say Anton said send you an email, and I'm going to have Rita look out for your email. antondaniels413@gmail.com. Shout out to you. Treehouse is in the building. Says Biden using chicken and watermelon as fishing bait. and catching. Shout out to Unlimited Cam is in the building. Says I went to community college for free and got my associates. I had a 3.8 GPA and transferred into a state school where I got my bachelor's for free. It can be done. Shout out to you. Shout out to the bag chasers. I appreciate you. Zeb is in the building. Shout out to Zeb. Zeb says, hi, Anton. Love your videos. I'm moving to Italy with my wife. Shout out to my new Italians in the building. Moving to Italy with my wife to start an Airbnb Verbo. We have 8 homes on an island off the coast of Naples. Would love some insight. I'm going to the NYC meetup. I'm going to see you at the meetup, and we're going to talk in person because I need to know the details of what's going on, and I don't want you to type all of that in the chat. Shout out to Patty Jackson is in the building. Patty Jackson says, I paid $5,000 for my bachelor's in criminal justice from the University of Maine through college hacking. Them basket weaving degrees are cheap if you do it the right way. Running that checkup. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel. We got to bring Baltimore to the front of the congregation. We got to bring Baltimore to the front of the congregation. Why they got my stream buffering out here in these streets? Huh? They don't want me to talk about Baltimore? Don't worry about it, YouTube. I ain't did nothing wrong. I'm out here chilling, minding my business, kicking it with my people, having a conversation about these people out here running in the Victim Olympics. And now all of a sudden y'all want to start throttling me, having my stream buffer, right? I see the people doing it, but they can't stop me. Anton is pushing. Anton is continuing to run it up. You have no power over me. You have no control of what we doing over here on the Bag Chasers. Make sure y'all join the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. They after Anton. They want to come for me. They want to say that I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to do. But in reality, Anton continues to give the people the information that they really need and not to run in the Victim Olympics and to run that checkup. And Baltimore, you are at the front of the congregation today. Now, Baltimore. A little birdie told me, they said, Anton, it was a block party that was happening over in a B-more. Shout out to the DMV, DC, Maryland, Virginia. We do Patreon. We got a Patreon meetup being planned over in DC. Don't worry. We coming to your neck of the woods soon. Somebody told me that y'all was having a block party. And it wound up being 12:30 a.m. So instead of y'all being on Fight Club and having a conversation with us and arguing about who God knows what did we argue about this weekend? We argued about these earthy chicks that's always using astrology to talk about what they is and they ain't gonna do. We talked about affirmative action and people running in the Victim Olympics and making sure that student loans is back on. We talked about a lot of different things. We talked about rap. We had a strong debate on who the GOAT was in rap on Friday night. And instead of y'all being in the crib, kicking it with the rest of us, staying out these streets, 12:30 a.m., y'all was out here, partying it up, doing an extension of Juneteenth. Baltimore is not the DMV. That's cool. But Baltimore is right up the street. You can get there fairly quickly. Don't worry about it. I ain't visited Baltimore yet. I'm scared to go to Baltimore. I done been through some of the streets of Chicago, stayed away from O Block, hanging out right there in in Overtown and Little Haiti over there in southern Florida. The red zone in Detroit, but B-more, man, after I watched The Wire, y'all got me shook. Y'all got me shook after watching The Wire, because I don't know if anybody, even Stringer Bell, got took out in The Wire. Only person that didn't take out in The Wire was Marlo. That's it. It was just Marlo. Marlo was the only main person to really get out unscathed. He didn't even get out unscathed. He just continued to go. And y'all don't even respect Marlo. Y'all didn't even respect Marlo. But don't worry. We'll get there. My Baltimore brethren, I want to give y'all an update on what's going on in Baltimore. So make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. We're going to bring Baltimore to the front of the congregation.
30 people hit by bullets, 2 killed just after 12:30 in the morning. We've been on the scene since news of the mass shooting first broke. Our team of reporters, the first there and the only ones at the hospitals as patients arrived early this morning. Good evening, everybody. I'm Mary Bubala. The shooting happened at a block party at the Brooklyn Homes. The mayor releasing more information during a news conference today, and this is what we know right now. The 30 victims range in age from 13 to 32 years old.
Let's stop there. Let's break this down to a science. Because a couple years ago, when I said that black culture is trash and the things that we celebrate the most, I can't believe Anton said it. I'm sick of them. I don't like them. Let's get the pitchforks out. And we still here. I want to see the Honorable Reverend Al Sharpton, Black Lives Matters, and Umar Johnson showing up to Baltimore immediately. I want all of the YouTubers and content creators that are advocates for the black community and wants to make sure that we're all moving in the right direction because black culture is not trash and the things. I want to see them at the front of the congregation in the streets of Baltimore immediately. I want them all supporting the mayor and making sure that they help Baltimore get things together. 30 victims, 12:30 a.m. at night. Block party, 30 victims, 30 people in a span of minutes. 14 of them is underage. For the longest, we've never classified this as a mass shooting. We've always removed that label from it because we so used to it that it's just gang culture. It's just black culture. We only applied that to somebody that's standing outside the window in Vegas, raining down bullets on the people. They can hit less people, and we gonna hold them accountable. It's the white people. They standing on each other's neck. They stood on this person's neck. Shout out to Eric Gardner and all of these people who we tore up all of our neighborhoods for in order to burn everything down and hold white people accountable. I see no one, nothing. Whispers, all of these content creators that was having all of this conversation about who and what and Black Lives Matter and that, they quiet right now. Where are they? Why are they not in the streets? Why are they not holding these people accountable? Why are they not advocating on the behalf of these people and calling for less police presence and cancel the police and defund the police? Where are these people at? And why are they not participating with the mayor and doing search parties and block parties and trying to figure out why they sound like the Yin Yang team? Why they the Yin Yang twins right now? Wait till you see Mobbit. Why is all of the content creators that's the blackity blacks imitating and doing their best impression of the Yin Yang twins? Hey, little mama, won't you do my dance? Why all of the content creators acting like the Yin Yang twins right now? Anton ain't doing a whisper song. I'm loud. 369. Get low. Woo! Y'all acting like y'all doing the whisper song. I'm where y'all at? Where they at though? Where they at though? Where they at though? Where's all of the blackity blacks? Please don't make me start calling y'all by name. Y'all had a lot to say about me when y'all was reacting to my content. Anton, don't lie. Where they at though? Where they at though? Where they at though? Where they at though? Please don't make me start calling you motherfuckers out by name. Y'all had a lot to fucking say about me. I just was patient. I waited. I said, I'm going to let these single baby hussies say whatever they want to fucking say. But I don't see nobody standing up for the 13 victims and the 14 juveniles. They all doing a whisper song. Wait till you see my... Don't worry about it. We're going to continue.
18 of them are juveniles under the age of 18. The two people killed are 18-year-old Alaya Gonzalez and 20-year-old Kylis Fag.
18 and a 20-year-old. An 18 and a 20-year-old. Let's continue.
9 victims are still in the hospital. Police believe at least 2 people opened fire at the party. They haven't released any information about possible suspects. Anybody with videos or information about the shooting is urged to call.
Now you know Gladys. She sounds like a Gladys. I forgot what they said her name was on the news. You know Gladys that they're not going to snitch. Now we know. Listen, one thing we know. 2 things is for certain. One thing we know and 2 things is for certain, that they're going to force the police to do their job. You find these guys and we're not going to help you. We's don't believe in snitching because we's not going to tell on a person that takes our babies out the streets. Knows we not. We's knows that these kids shouldn't even been out there past 12:30 a.m. at a block party in the hood. Howsoever, police gonna have to do their job. Eyes not tellings on the police. Knows it's eyes keeps in it real because it ain't kosher and it ain't culture for me to throw my culture up under the culture. All right? I'm not throwing my culture under the car. Because I's not snitching on the men that's taking my... Now, everybody at the block party know who was at the block party. Why are these people still walking around free? Why are these people still walking around free? Everybody at the block party knows somebody that was at the block party. Ain't nobody at the block party unidentified. This is not like a white person's... family reunion where you could just come in and just do whatever you want to say and act like you a part of the family. I was married them. This ain't Wedding Crashers. Everybody at the block party know who was at the block party. Why are these monsters walking around? Because I tell you what, the one thing I know about white people is much, much different than black culture. That man, that whatever they label as a mass shooting, that motherfucker is in cuffs in less than 24 hours. That motherfucker, whoever they label mass, if they put mass in front of your name and then they put that whatever they got after that, that motherfucker is in cuffs less than 24 hours. They storming that bitch's house. They taking his grandmama house apart. The daddy going to jail. The mama going to jail. But all of y'all is out here protecting the worst amongst us. And then when they get arrested, you're going to have free ray across your T-shirt. I get it. Don't worry
Police.
about it.
Fox 25's Olivia Dans pressed the mayor for answers today. She joins us live now with
reading Super Chat shortly.
Olivia.
Well, Mary, as Baltimore police continue to investigate and look for the suspects responsible, this mass shooting is once again raising concerns about crime in Baltimore and what city leaders are doing to stop it.
Be advised, we have another adult female, number 1 female shot in the left leg. They need some units here. I need medics here.
A manhunt is underway to find those responsible for shooting 30 people in Baltimore during a block party early Sunday morning.
Currently, we're still at 30 victims. Ages range from 13 to 32. 9 victims remain at area hospitals in various conditions.
13 through 32. 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 13 through All of them are young. Now, the old folks, they knew they had to get up and come to work in the morning. 13 through 32. 30 people hit. 13 through 32. That's a 19-year age gap. These people are going to walk around like this is normal. They're going to look at these hits as a badge of honor. Is they keeping it real? Because y'all won't change the culture and y'all won't sit here and make an adjustment to what it is that we celebrate the most. That's the mayor of Baltimore right there. That's the mayor of Baltimore right there. The guy that is actually trying to advocate for getting the streets cleaned up.
2 victims have been pronounced deceased.
Police are pleading with the public for anyone with information to come forward.
The police are begging and pleading with the public. Anybody that got information, please come forward. Help us help you. Help us rid your neighborhood of the chaos and the destruction and the thing that y'all said the system is set up against y'all for. Y'all keep asking us to throw money into schools and y'all keep asking us to give money to reparations. Help us catch the person that is taking your babies and shooting your women in the leg. Help us find these people. Give us a call. Participate with us. Continue to help us find the people that's trying to take your babies and your kids and that's preventing you from being able to have your Juneteenth celebration at 12:30 a.m. at night. Please help us find your killers while we go back to our homes and not worry about what it is that you got to deal with. Help us increase your property values.
Meanwhile, video circulating on social media shows a young boy at the party pulling a gun out of his backpack.
I've seen
Look at all them
video.
people.
Anyone who has a gun that's in that area is a potential suspect.
Mayor Brandon Scott sending a strong message to those responsible.
We're not going to be dismayed by cowards that committed this mass shooting, and we're going to continue to remove those folks off the street. And as I said earlier, I hope these folks don't sleep well, because we're not going to sleep until
They going to sleep good. And you know why they going to sleep good? Because they know you're going to keep it real and not tell on the people that's supposed to be going to jail. And the worst part about it is, the only way that you can solve for, because the police can't fix your community. They can police your community. It's the community who is now responsible for what happens, meaning your mother, your father, your single baby moms, these simps, these suckers, the people that continue to have the kids, the ones that feel comfortable enough to allow for your women and your children to continue to go out there on a block party, and the women that are headstrong and say, I'm going to do what the fuck I want to do anyway, and then you walk around and your monsters is 13-year-olds and
we pull them off.
But with 30 victims shot and lives changed forever, we pressed him on if he thinks his crime plan is working. He insists it is, saying mass shootings like this are a societal issue.
This is not about whether the police department or MONSE or our federal partners or folks who are working to reduce violence are doing their job every day. This is about people who cowardly decide to come to a celebration and shoot it up. Let's call this what it is. Let's not make this into some political dog whistle.
With 14 minors hurt during the shooting and that video of a young man with a gun, many are questioning his summer crime plan and the youth curfew he put in place.
And you show me where the curfew is working at. Because I can tell you, as an EMT out here in Baltimore, I pick up more juveniles than I do adults. So don't let Brandon Scott fool you.
As the Brooklyn community is shattered and mourning the 2 lives lost, residents are calling for action.
We're hurting him. We got to make some kind of change. Babies are dying. They're supposed to be lawyers and presidents and whatever in the future.
They say something needs to change.
These people are, I'm sorry, ma'am. I understand your sentiment. I'm compassionate with you. But let me just help you to understand something, baby. These people that are out here at 12:30 a.m. that is partying and then immersing themselves in this culture are not our future lawyers and presidents. They aren't. They aren't. Let's just call a spade a spade. They are not your future lawyer. Listen, if that man is going to be a lawyer, if these are our future lawyers and you going to jail, don't pass go, don't collect $200, there's a strong possibility he going to show up to court with some dress slip-ons on. If you see your lawyer show up to court and he don't even have no real shoes on and he got dress slip-ons on, you going to jail. These are not our future leaders. Maybe they are. Maybe that's why our whole society is so messed up today. I don't know. Is that man walking around with a pit bull inside of the courtyard? Oh, Jesus. Did I stop it on the part where the man was walking around with a pit bull? Oh, my God. Lord, be offense. Hallelujah. Somebody turn to your neighbor and say, these ain't our future leaders. Turn to the person to your left. Ask them where they live. Do you live in Baltimore? You out of luck. Turn to your person to the right and say, you live in Chicago? You out of luck. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Turn to the person to your left and ask them if they live in Baltimore. Turn to your person to the right and ask them if they live in Chicago. Turn to the person in front of you and ask them if they walking down Kensington Avenue in Philadelphia. Hallelujah. Reading super chat shortly.
In order to save our young people.
I feel for everybody in this community because I just cannot imagine.
Not the Rebirth Church of Deliverance. Shout out to Sarita Anderson at the Rebirth Church of Deliverance.
The people that were in their house and hearing that, you know, kids. Oh my God, what can we say to these little kids? I don't know.
The kids, look at that police presence. Jesus, they got a huge antenna out there. Just call the National Guard. Section it off. Call off dogs, section off Baltimore, section off Chicago. Close off the whole Kensington Avenue. Yo, driving down Kensington Avenue just make me itch. I just be doing like this all of a sudden. Jesus, what the hell is going on up here? It's the kids. No, the kids pay for the sins of their fathers and their mothers. The kids pay for the sins of the parents. So when you see kids doing this, they're a reflection of the people. And y'all say anybody, Anton said people that do this shouldn't be having kids. Go ahead and rewatch my Dr. Phil episode right after you see this and then ask me if I was wrong. Go watch the episode that I did on Dr. Phil and then come back and watch.
Robbers has released this poster with the identity of the two victims killed during the shooting. You can see they're offering an $8,000 reward for information that may lead to the arrest of the suspects responsible. Of course, anyone with information is asked to call police or Metro Crime Stoppers. For now, reporting live in Baltimore.
I see the buffering.
Olivia Dance, Fox 45.
I see the buffering. We here. We rocking out. Let me show you another video. I'm gonna show you some more footage of what's happening out here in these streets in Baltimore. I'm gonna give you one more perspective.
Good evening and thank you for joining us on this Sunday night. Tonight, a manhunt is underway for at least two shooters behind a barrage of bullets at a Baltimore block party. What started as an evening of celebrations.
Look at this. Look at it. Look at the footage. Look at the footage of you and your friends.
Dozens running for their lives. Police say the suspects opened fire and shot 30 people, nearly half of them children. 2 of them died, including a teen.
Look at that. Look at that, y'all. Look. This is the scene. Do this look familiar? Do this look like Willowbrook that they had outside of Chicago? Do this look like the scene where them kids was dancing on top of the car over there in Lakeview? Does this look like where I was showing y'all what was happening over on Kensington Avenue? Look at the scene, y'all. Look, you're going to find 3 things in the parking lot after these people leave. 3 things is going to be in the parking lot, I guarantee you. In the morning when you wake up, you're going to see 3 things. Red cups, caution tape, and it's going to be a Nissan Altima out there. Oh, red cups, caution tape, and Nissan Altimas is going to be every fucking where. I guarantee you that. It's going to be red cups, caution tape, and Nissan Altimas. Those are the hood rat. I'm in the crib. I just came from a block party. That's the starter kit. Shout out to all of my Nissan Altimas.
Teenager It is unknown if this was a targeted attack, but we do know tonight this marks the 338th with more. Scott, I can't even imagine what that must have been like for all of the people who witnessed that.
Yeah, Jerika, this began as a holiday weekend tradition, a barbecue party.
Somebody tell me that you see is fun. I know YouTube is buffering. I know YouTube is trying to stop what we got going on, but we gonna cook. When you see this crowd, y'all, and you see things is playing out the way that it's playing out, somebody tell me that this actually is a space that you say, hey, it looked like that's some fun over there. Let's go over there and see what they got going on. Or do you see a trap?
At first, the gunshot.
Look at it. Let me span the room again. Watch this. Look, watch this. I got you. I'm reading Super Chat shortly. We're going to work through it. We're going to work through what that's YouTube's in. That ain't got nothing to do with what we got going on over here. We're going to work through it. Somebody tell me that this makes sense and this looks like a place that you want to go to.
City. At a 4th of July weekend block party, at first the gunshots were mistaken for holiday fireworks.
This is a multi-generational event. You had young people, you had older folks, you had folks middle-aged like myself.
Another shooting at 805 Retina Court. Caller says a sister was shot.
Look.
Witnesses describe a sea of bullets after midnight at what began as a family night of fun. At least 30 people shot, an 18-year-old woman and a 20-year-old man killed. And a night later, the search for suspects is still underway. Authorities say they're looking for multiple shooters.
We know for sure there is definitely more than one. We don't know exactly how many, but we do know more than one person was shooting.
This was a reckless, cowardly act of violence.
Reading your Super Chat shortly, Tazzy.
Lives and altered many, many more. And as I said earlier, we will find those who are responsible, and we will not stop until we do so.
And I think she got shot in her legs.
Laquel Nelson told CBS News she helped race one of the victims to the hospital.
And I just kept telling her, baby, just breathe slowly, just breathing it out, just breathing it out. I'm going to get you there. I'm going to get you there.
City police records show this was the 310th shooting so far this year in Baltimore.
Not the 310th victim. Not the 310th victim. This is the actual 310th shooting in Baltimore this year. Yo, we not even 310 days. We barely 180 days in. We not even halfway through. We just started June. Where's all my advocates at? Where's all the people that stand for the community? I'm going to go through and I'm going to preach to the kids and I'm going to get them off the street. When y'all tired, y'all let me know. Until then, I'm going to continue to have this conversation. Shout out to Jamal Perks in the building. Says we must protect Anton at all costs. I agree. Thank you for the 2-ball. Thank you for holding me down. C-Mac is in the building. I appreciate you, C-Mac. Says one major problem in B-More is getting caught with an illegal GUN is not a felony charge. Really? Seriously? Oh, y'all gotta verify that. C-Mac, you gotta be kidding me. I see you got the Ravens on there. I know you from the B-More. I know you support the Baltimore Ravens and all of that, but you're gonna have to give me some insight on that. I ain't know that. They could just walk around and catch misdemeanors? Jesus Christ. Shout out to John Wick is in the building. We need John Wick out there. You know what I'm saying? Bullets flying from the window to the wall, to the sweat drop off my balls. All these females, growl. Oh, ski. Oh, ski, God damn. Oh, these. Let me stop because they're going to be like, Anton, you're not being sensitive enough to what's going on. Anton, you need to be a lot more compassionate. Jesus. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Oh, Jesus save the children. What? Not the kids. Not the kids. Not ball. Not. Would y'all prefer I do it that way? Am I more passionate for you? I can break out in a minute. If you need compassion, I will give you compassion. Shout out to John Wick. Dick Maximus is in the building. I appreciate you. Says all of Maryland is hood. Easy cat for paying for the light bill. Shout out to you. I appreciate you. Y'all want me to get some now you know I can pull them tears out. You know I know how to pull them tears out, boy. Can I get a movie role? Yo, can somebody put me in a feature film? I promise you, I will lay it out. Y'all getting the improv. I can lay it out. I am a phenomenal actor. Young Hove is in the building. Young H.O. says, and then play the racist card. Well, look at what y'all doing. Shaking my head. Shout out to Young H.O. in the building. Tazzy, oh my God. What the Tazzy with the 100 ball says, I live in PG County. I stay far away from the Mo. Far away from B-Mo is in the building. Yo, Tazzy, I appreciate you for the 100 ball. Let me throw up. It's The Rock. Hey, you know what they're gonna say? Anton is throwing up Illuminati signs. Shout out to Tazzy in the building. It's The Rock. Also, let me give a shout out to BEZ Glover. Bees Glover says it is illegal to have an illegal firearm. By the way, when can I get back on a coaching schedule? I'm a Patreon member. Send me an email, AntonDaniels413@gmail.com, and I'm going to be able to kick it with you, big dog. I appreciate you. Thank you to everybody that contributes to the platform, but we not done. We's not done. We fall down, but we get up. We fall down, but we get up. For a saint is just a sinner who fell down, but we get up. But not Malika. Not Malika. Malika will not be deterred. You know who ain't gonna be deterred? Of all the people that will not be deterred from continuing to hold us down, it is going to be that strong black woman. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It's that strong. Not Malika. Malika, listen. At the end of the world, this is what I know for sure. One thing is for sure and two things is for certain. When this is all said and done, when the rapture comes down and takes us all, you know who's going to still be here? Roaches and black women. They will survive. They will always survive. They will be at the forefront of all of our TV shows. They will be in our streets. They will be on social media. They will be here. When you lose your job, you know what they're going to have? A black woman that's canceling you and walking you out the door. When they call you to HR, you know who they're going to have had a conversation with you? A black woman. At the end of the world, when it's all said and done, she will be waiting there for you with your pink slip and walking you out the door, walking you on your way to hell. She's going to be the one that sent you there, and she's going to be the one to give you the first class ticket, punching your way to hell. I promise you, at the end of the world, it's going to be Jesus battling the devil And then a roach sitting on the kneecap of a black woman, and they're going to be eating popcorn, talking about, I told you. I told you. I promise you. I promise you. But, neither here nor there. We have to deep dive and we got to get the details, right? So, Disney decided that they wanted to clean house. Now, I have some theories about this. I have some assumptions based off of looking at things from a C student's perspective. But we're going to get there. We're going to get there. Okay, so let me give the New York Post columnist this breakdown of who all got the big chop. And then we're going to go into the fact that Kendrick Perkins and Malika is still there. Don't worry about it. We're going to get there. Make sure y'all hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel and turn on your notifications. Make sure you tap into the Patreon if you have not already. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let's get to it.
The scrapping of the morning show that consists of Keyshawn Johnson, Jay Williams, and Max Kellerman is one of a series of moves that is forthcoming for ESPN. Let's talk first off about why they're doing this. ESPN is de-emphasizing national radio. That's been apparent for a while now. In the previous layoffs of behind-the-scenes people, they took a big chunk of their staff that were in radio. So the move now to get rid of the Kellerman, Johnson, Williams combination in the morning is not surprising.
Check this out. 20 on-air personalities, including Jeff Van Gundy, Jalen Rose, Max Kellerman, and Keyshawn Johnson. 20 on-air personalities. Max Kellerman, largely considered one of the voices of boxing and a great sports analyst that can break things down to a science as to the punching power of your favorite boxer. Jalen Rose has the best lineup in the industry, great head of hair, former NBA player, absolutely was the one that Kobe Bryant scored 81 points on and has a great take. As a matter of fact, his most recent interview specifically was with Ja Morant. Keyshawn Johnson, football talent extraordinaire, just re-upped with ESPN and signed a new contract, out the door. Jeff Van Gundy, right? Jeff Van Gundy, former coach, ESPN analyst, can break things down, has been calling games for ESPN for over a decade. Steve Young. Oh my God, Steve Young. Let me give you the whole list. Jeff Van Gundy, Jalen Rose, Keyshawn Johnson, Max Kellerman, Chris Chelios. Now, if I'm not mistaken, Chris Chelios is also a former Detroit Red Wing, if I'm talking about the right person, right? Because I don't know hockey that much, but I know it was a Chelios chili over here in Dearborn, Michigan, and then they was trying to get one popping over here in Hockey Town Cafe. Chris Chelios, Matt Hasselbeck, Steve Young, the great Steve Young that can throw a football 2 football fields down the thing. Let's see. Rob Ninkovich, Neil Everett, Ashley Brewer, Susie Kolber. Let's see. Rob Ninkovich, June Lee, not June. June. If it had to be between you and Malika, who you think was going to be gone out of there? June Lee. Let me see what June Lee looked like. I don't even know who June Lee is. Yep, that's June. Shout out to June Lee. Let me show y'all what June Lee. Did y'all think that June Lee would survive? Let me show y'all what June looked like. Now, in this world, did you think that this man was going to survive over a black woman? Nope. Nope. You can forget it, buddy. Not you, June. You can forget it. You had no chance whatsoever. LaFonso Ellis, Todd McShay, Jordan Cornette, Jason Fitz, and David Polak. Wow. Let's continue.
What's coming next week is most likely more talent layoffs and buyouts. When you talk about talent, you're talking about the.
What he's saying is it's not over. Kendrick Perkins could possibly possibly still be. He probably on a, who knows how much he makes, but Kendrick Perkins is definitely there.
On-air people. And you look at someone like Max Kellerman, and he's probably not in a good spot because, first off, the radio show is now being canceled. In the afternoon, ESPN made the huge signing of bringing Pat McAfee on an $85 million deal, around $85 million. And so do you need the Kellerman show, which this just ends from 2 to 3? You probably don't, because the Kellerman money, he's making around $5 million a year, goes to McAfee and his crew. And so I think Kellerman's job is in jeopardy. And then, when you look at what is going on in terms of where people are focusing in the audio space, it's more towards podcasts. And that's where ESPN is looking to. And that's where, McAfee is excellent. His podcast is very popular. And so
let me give you my assessment of this. Aside from Malika Andrews, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to mispronounce your name. When I seen Pat McAfee, and we actually had this conversation a few weeks ago, and I started breaking this down, right? When I seen Pat McAfee sign over to ESPN, I knew the writing was going to be on the wall. I didn't know it was going to be 20 people plus more that was coming to the front of the congregation. And then when I seen Shannon Sharp, and I seen his departure and his exit over there at Undisputed, I knew something was brewing, right? And here's the key. And I broke this down over the weekend. Similarly, I think I was on Fight Club, but I broke this down over the weekend. And here's the thing. Large television and movie houses are going the same way as record labels. As a matter of fact, they should have been doing this a long time ago, because the user taste is changing. ESPN fumbled the bag in that they started talking about politics and started being woke. And then they start turning off the people that actually tuned in to see what the hot sports takes are. Because sports is a way for us to actually bond and come together, not be more divided, right? We can argue over whether or not this is the right person that could be drafted, and then people can walk away and they don't have no kind of hard feelings. I mean, I can call you a motherfucker, you wrong. And we can argue and we can go at it. And then we can still love each other and not feel a certain type of way about each other. You can't do that with anything else. You can't do it with religion. You can't do it with relationships. You can't do it about money. You can't do it about anything else except for sports. Sports was supposed to be the thing that bring us together, not divide us. And so the first hint of it is when we start to see ESPN go woke. We start to see the Black Lives Matters show up all over the basketball court. We seen y'all started kneeling and y'all didn't even watch football on Sundays. The people that had the most to say was the ones that never even actually tuned in or spent $1 on a courtside seat on watching it on TV, or never bought a jersey in their entire life, right? And so we started to see everything go woke. Now, that combined with the idea of things and the user taste were changing as far as being able to have on-demand content, not being regulated in order to watch it on your TV or on a major network. And then you combine that with the whole idea of Disney not being able to effectively run ESPN and not even knowing where to put it in their whole conglomerate of things, but they had a huge lead on everybody else, which then justified how it was that they were operating because they didn't have any competition. Now you have different people that give you not only competition in other spaces like the Fox Sports, but you also have online competition. And you got me over here, and you got Gilbert Arenas, and then you got Marcellus Wiley over there, and you got Kwame Brown. And all of these people are just taken away from the pie because people want to hear what they got to say instead of what it is that you're trying to force feed us on top of what we're doing politically. And then the cherry on top is we got Molly Queerum and fucking Malika Andrews sitting here spitting in our face, talking shit about draft picks and trying to throw their background into the conversation on draft night, having conversations, fake accusing, well, not even fake accusing, but giving this fake little thing about what was going on with Jalen Rose when he tried to hug her and she tried to act like he was yo. It is the perfect cocktail mix. The perfect cocktail mix of people putting themselves in a position to fumble the bag. Now, the problem with this is there's no needle movers now. Right? Because Max Kellerman, as good as he is, he was just a person that was good at what he does, but he's not a person that draws the thing that you need in order to build an audience separately. If Max Kellerman, in my opinion, went and started a channel by itself today, Max Kellerman wouldn't be that relevant. It kind of reminds me of when you seen Joe Budden with Rory and Maul, and now Rory and Maul is largely not even something that you check for, but you didn't realize that they were just supportive castmates and not necessarily needle movers. They were people that was just sitting in a chair and maybe they gave an interesting take, or you tuned in order to see somebody push back against Joe Budden himself, but they're not the movers and the shakers and the needle movers in the space, right? And that's going to separate the real from the fake. That's what separates the Keyshawn Johnsons from the Stephen A. Smiths, or the Stephen A. Smiths from the Keyshawn Johnsons. That's what separates the Club Shay Shay, the Shannon Sharps, from, somebody else that's just riding the waves and getting a decent salary, but not necessarily generating a lot of revenue. And so now you start to throw into the cocktail mix somebody like a Pat McAfee, right? A Pat McAfee is a person that comes to the congregation, that already has his audience, that already has a strong following, similar to exactly what it is that they're looking to do inside of the music industry. The music industry does not develop talent anymore. They're not looking to air and argue. They're not trying to figure out how it is that you can spit a hot 16. They're looking to find people that already got a movement, that already got a social media following, that people are already buying their stuff, and then they just give them the bag and they say, we want to partner with you, and we can use this machine to make your platform much bigger. See, some people are saying Max can actually debate and analyze. It's not about debating and analyzing. It's about whether or not you can be relevant in a crowded sea of people where social media and different personalities are taking over. When I watch sports, right, I'm not just checking for what's happening on Fox Sports and ESPN. I'm not just checking to see what's happening with Pat McAfee, right? It's some smaller content creators that got 50,000 subs. It's some people that got 25,000 subs. I'm checking for the Gills Arena. I'm also looking to see what's happening over on my dog, the Dreamers Pro Show. He just crossed over 100,000 and he killing that shit. And so it's not just about whether they can analyze, it's whether or not you're going to go out of your way to go and look them up separately, or whether or not they can make themselves a part of the algorithm to give you relevant information that makes it more entertaining beyond what it is that they can analyze and break down. It's not just about being technical. Right? We call it the Mayweather effect. Can you sell? Are you likable? Do you have the entertainment, the wow factor that actually would generate buzz and revenue and makes you go social, makes you go viral instead of just giving the information? Okay? So when I say Max Kellerman, I love Max Kellerman, but I'm a sports fanatic. I'm not just talking about Max Kellerman, the analyst. I'm talking about Max Kellerman, the entertainer. Don't you see Stephen A. Smith breaking out on his own and trying to start his own channel? If you don't listen, the biggest clue was Stephen A. Smith seeing what happened over there with Shannon Sharp, starting his own network. Stephen A. Smith is starting to talk about subjects that ain't even got nothing to do with sports now. Stephen A. Smith has the Stephen A. Smith Show that is just on YouTube, and if you don't think that you didn't see the writing on the wall, a lot of these people need a job. What I'm telling you is that what's happening here with big media, what's happening here in the record industry is the same thing that's going to happen when it comes to artificial intelligence, and it's going to start trickling down in what it is that we got going on in our lives and at our regular jobs every single day. Listen, go and look at the latest manufacturing video in the latest car that they build. And go look at the new BMW 7 Series. That's what I look at, honestly. Go look at the new BMW 7 Series as far as how it is that they put in that car together. I'm reading that super chat shortly. And then you're going to start to see how things are going to trickle down with you specifically. And then artificial intelligence is going to increase that. When you go and you look at that factory video, when you go and look at the most recent builds in Tesla's factories and how they putting the things together, they hardly have any people on the floor anymore. They hardly have any people on the floor anymore. The people that are going to survive, whether you're talking about over here at ESPN, or you talking about in content creation, or you talking about in your regular everyday jobs, are the people that are going to be high performers. People that move the needle, that have the best sales record, that actually have the best relationships, can network effectively, that can change the dynamic, that is going to be a rising star. That is going to be the difference between the people that are thriving and the people that are just trying to figure out how to survive. You are going to have to be a needle mover if you're going to grow and thrive in this economy, and we're already seeing it take place. Mark my words, I'm always right, and I always come back and I start telling y'all the truth. It's the Pat McAfees that's going to get the contracts. They're going to get the $85 million. They're going to get rid of all 20 of them people. And then they're going to move it all over and they're going to say, Pat McAfee, you already got it. We can bank on you because you got an audience. The people rock with you. You're entertaining. You've been doing it for a while. We love what you got going on. Here's the bag. Here's $85 million. It's capitalism. They took Max Kellerman's $5 million and then they took Jalen Rose money and they already gave it to Pat McAfee. Once Pat McAfee signed on the dotted line, all of them motherfuckers was out. That's just the truth. Problem is that we still got to deal with Malika Andrews. We still got a Malika Andrews out there. But my point is that what you see happening over here at ESPN is just a small piece or a small part of a bigger picture that ESPN is reorganizing. Unfortunately for them, I don't think that they're going to do well because they're a small cog in a big machine of Disney that, in my opinion, don't really understand how to capitalize and leverage their visibility. But I think that it's going to be gnashing of the teeth. I think it's going to be very, very difficult. Let me tell you what's going to happen. You're going to start seeing a lot of these people that got laid off. They're going to start to try to do their own thing. They're going to start to try to do their own YouTube channel because it ain't no money for most of these dudes and everywhere else, right? They can't go and do a radio show. It ain't too many networks that got the budget to be able to absorb these guys. And so they're going to try to do their own thing. And then a lot of them are going to fail because they're not really built to be able to do this stuff on their own. Skip got his own YouTube channel now. You right, Just Jab. Skip got his own YouTube channel. A lot of these people ain't built for it. A lot of these people going to fail. They don't know how to build an audience. They don't know how to entertain. They need that big machine behind them, and it's going to separate the real from the fake. Mark my words. Let me hear a little bit more of what he got to say. Actually, I want to go into Marcellus Wiley. I want to get Marcellus Wiley's take on this whole thing.
All right. I wish I was a liar right now. Boy, I'm so good with these transitions today. But I got to tell the truth, and I got to read this report. Breaks my heart, but you know me. I live through levity. If I ain't dead, I ain't down. I'm going to be all right, and these guys will be too. But ESPN has laid off some names. Big names in the latest round of firing. So let's just go through some of those names. Confirmed names before we get into this story and kind of highlight a few. Max Kellerman, my dog. Keyshawn Johnson, Jalen Rose. Caught me off guard with that one. Jeff Van Gundy really caught me off with that one. Susie Colbert and LaFonso Ellis. Y'all know him.
Guess what? People are still going to watch NBA games, regardless of whether Jeff Van Gundy is the one calling them. As much as we love, as sports fans, Jeff Van Gundy calling those games, you can go and get a dude off the street to call that game, and it ain't going to make no difference. It's not going to make any difference because we did not watch it for Jeff Van Gundy. I'm telling you. As much as I love Jeff Van Gundy, we didn't watch it for Jeff Van Gundy.
I'm the college basketball analyst that loves to smile. That is a good dude, for real. Not renewed, which is different than the layoffs and firings. Like, not renewed means your contract's coming up or it's up, and guess what? Hands up, too. We ain't doing nothing with you, right? So that's Rob Ninkovich. Know him. Neil Everett, we discussed, and hockey legend Chris Chelios. All right.
So Chris Chelios is the guy that I thought about.
And then unconfirmed, still floating out there. You know, they got calls into their publicists or agents, I assume. Steve Young and Jay Williams. Okay, we're going to put a little focus on this one right now and start at the top and start where it all started today with Max Kellerman and Keyshawn Johnson. Now, the news isn't all bad for Keyshawn Johnson, as only a year ago, he signed a 5-year deal in the neighborhood of $18 million.
So Keyshawn Johnson still get his money.
And he will be able to coach.
Now, if they let Keyshawn Johnson go, even with signing a 5-year, $18 million deal, and they just letting him take the money and walk out the door and they still getting rid of him, that should tell you something.
All of it. All right. So while ESPN still will pay Keyshawn his money, it can write off the rest of his contract, which helps his books, impresses Wall Street. And then if Johnson wants to work somewhere else, let's say FS1, get on Undisputed, be in that carousel, whatever they got going, He's going to have to go talk to the legal department to kind of work that out, but he can do it. Now, y'all know I know Keyshawn. That's my dog. We raced each other. I smoked his ass. That's what I do. He's going to get mad when he hears this, but we've talked through this process. I knew this was coming for him, and I knew it because I know Keyshawn, and I know how to decode Keyshawn. Keyshawn, I used to look up to Keyshawn, like, you know, he's older than me. I'm talking about high school, y'all. Went to Dorsey High School, could have went to Miami, ended up going to a JC, going to SC, and setting the world on fire. I ain't never seen a receiver every single week go for 200 yards or something, right? It was just insane how he balled. #1 overall pick, big party at House of Blues. Back in the days, all Death Row Records was there. Like, Keyshawn has always been a big timer. That said, I knew that this situation was coming for him because I knew what was happening with Max Kellerman, another person I've talked to through this process. So decoding it all because it wasn't confirmed even for them, but they knew in terms of the writing being on the
So they already seen it coming anyway.
wall. Now, what happened with Max? This is interesting. So we know Max was making a little more than Keyshawn, like $5 million per year. I actually know the real numbers, so they close. And his arc at ESPN, man, I remember the day we were doing Max and Marcellus, and he was like this Max during the break, he always talking on the phone. I don't like talking on the phone, I like texting. So he then I can hear, you ear hustle. It's so funny you're in a room with somebody and they on the phone, you might as well be on the phone with them because you're hearing half the conversation and assuming the other half, right? So I'm like, what are you talking about? Who are you talking to? And then he hung up the phone, he's like, dog. That's our code for like something big going down. And that was First Take calling him to go out there. He's like, what you think? What should I do? I was like, what? Peace. Holla at your boy, baby. We still got phones. I'll text you, you call me, and we still be boys. But go get that. And he went there. But boy, when he went there, they went there on him as well. Wasn't the warmest reception as we saw on that show. So we saw it go the wrong direction once him and Stephen A. connected pretty fast too. And then on First Take, he got removed, got his own show, this just in. Then all of a sudden he got the radio show. But now, being in the business, knowing that all these moving parts, that means that even if you're making your money, they're not really supporting you. That was one of the reasons I left ESPN to go to FS1 because of the movement. I was on Sports Nation, but y'all remember Sports Nation? Used to have Carissa Thompson, used to have Michelle Beadle, used to have Kerry Champion, used to have LZ Granderson, used to have Max Kellerman. You get my point? All that means, all that movement, they ain't fully supporting it. And Max and all that movement, even though he was getting paid, I was getting paid, they're not fully supporting you. Max kind of felt that. So then, when Pat McAfee got signed, it was a wrap. Like, it's just a matter of time.
Told you. Once Pat McAfee got signed, that was it.
We got to announce to you that you got to be let go. We need that real estate. Okay, so then it gets to Jalen Rose. Now, Jalen, who is 50, who looks amazing for 50. He older than me? Yeah, I knew that from basketball, but not by looking at him every time. That crispy hairline he got right there. This was interesting. He was on the NBA broadcast for a decade. Really impressive because of all of the changes that the network made to that show.
You know, the interesting thing about Jalen Rose, I'm going to leave it there because I want to read some of these super chats. The interesting thing about Jalen Rose, I hope he saved his money. I hope he was smart. I hope he stacked his bread. I hope he saved his money because I think one of the reasons why some people got let go and some people didn't is because of the certain contracts that they have. It's the contracts. I think it's the contracts. I don't think that certain people make as much as others, but then I think that they need to have a budget in order to give over to Pat McAfee and some of the other talent that they probably bringing over there. Maybe Shannon Sharp, who knows? But I think it's the budget also. I think it was the budget. So, yeah, that's that. And then I'm going to deep dive into something else after I read a few of these super chats. Shout out to Eli Padilla. I appreciate you. I'm going to read that super chat too. Let me get into Oshkosh Davis 2012. Shout out to Oshkosh David 2012. I appreciate you. Says, could the shooters in B-More been the Alphabet Boys in black or blue? Nope. It wasn't the Alphabet Boys. As far as what I've researched and what I find out, it was not the Alphabet Boys in black and blue. Shout out to you for the 5 ball. I appreciate you. Let me give a shout out to Sigma the Prince. Says they've brought women's world to the world of men sports to interrupt men's only outlet. That's why they use real athletes on Housewives of USA City. I agree with that, bro. The minute that you start to see women infiltrate what men have going on, that's the surest way in order to make it go down. For real. Nobody would even be watching these Housewives or whatever, so on and so forth. Or, real NBA women, housewives and all of that or whatever, if the men wasn't involved and they was leapfrogging off of their husbands in order to get some visibility. But now you got women in men's sports, actually in men's locker rooms. And I had a conversation with Lamar Odom, and he was saying that these women be in the men's locker rooms and they Johnsons just be swinging out and everything like that. And the dudes don't care. They be like, yeah, you shouldn't be in here if you don't want to see my Johnson. And that's just the end of the conversation. It's tripped out. It's crazy. Shout out to Sigma the Prince. I appreciate you. Legendary coaches in the building. Says that $1 million life hack videos changed my mentality on how I develop and empower my mentees. The Patreon is a gold mine. Thank you, big dog. Let me read that one more time for the people in the back. That $1 million life hack video. It's in the Patreon for those of y'all that have not seen it. Changed my mentality on how I develop and empower my mentees. The Patreon is a gold mine. Thank you, big dog. Shout out to legendary coach. I appreciate you. I got so many more jewels and life hacks that's coming. And obviously this ain't the stuff that I give y'all on the Patreon. This ain't shit that you can look up. When I show y'all the numbers, I show y'all the back end, I give y'all the advice. You can't get this off Google. You can't get that off YouTube. I don't even think I can talk about it out loud. Shout out to all of the bag chasers. Link to the Patreon is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. If y'all have not joined the Patreon, today is the best day to be able to do it. I promise you. I promise you. Eli is in the building. Shout out to Eli. Says, God bless, brother. So if you are in your mid-30s, what is it worth to keep studying? What is worth studying to keep up with tech and have a good career, AI engineering or software? I think that both is fine. I think that cloud engineering, software engineering, all of that, right? If you're talking about keeping up with your skill set, then that's just going to be continuously growth, right? That's going to be continuous growth. That's you continuing to get certifications. That's you continuing to grow. Now, if you want to grow beyond being a code monkey, then that's when you start to network more effectively. And that's when you start to find yourself in a space where you actually want to move up beyond technology and you actually want to start getting into management. That's a completely different conversation. But if you just want to keep your skills relevant to stay in the industry, then that's going to be self-growth, self-development, continuing to mine out what it is that the new technologies is coming. Learn it. All engineering is, this is what people don't understand. All engineering is continuing to refine, figure out, and solution for problems that you don't even know exist yet, and innovation. That's it. That's all engineering. No matter what type of engineer you are, that's all it is. So you got to continue to keep your skills relevant, continue to go to the classes, all of that. C-Mac says, Anton, I just sent the proof to your email. Shout out to C-Mac. I appreciate you. Let me highlight that really quickly. I appreciate you, C-Mac. Thank you, my friend. But if you're looking to figure out what you need to go into, I think either one of those is fine. Cybersecurity is also fine. Cloud engineering is also fine. So any one of those is fine and you'll be good. You'll always have a job. Even with artificial intelligence, you'll still have a job. Software engineering is the path that I would choose personally, but I think that you'll be fine. Let me go into one more thing before we get up out of here. We've been cooking all day on a Monday. You've been getting this work. You're going to get this work. Florida immigration laws is creating panic among migrants and illegal migrants, right? Florida immigration laws is creating panic. I want to share this video with you guys, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day. But this is important because this is what I think is going to lead into election season. And we often at times talk about closing off our borders. Make sure you hit a like for the YouTube algorithm, subscribe to the channel, turn on your notifications. Let's rock out.
Tonight, a new law is set to upend an entire way of life for many immigrants in Florida. One of them is Jesus, a farm worker for 18 years. He left Mexico searching for work and a better life. But
wait a minute. What is his name? Jesus? Or is it Jesus? Anton Daniels 413@gmail.com. That's my email. Is it Jesus? And is Jesus documented? Also, a part of this conversation that we need to have is the businesses that continue to use illegal, because y'all always talking about a livable wage and all of this other type of stuff. There are businesses that benefit from it, but more importantly, they're the ones that continue to drive up the cost of doing business, because if they're paying and employing illegal migrants or illegal immigrants in the country, how is that affecting our economy? All right, Jesus, let's rock out.
For 18 years, he left Mexico searching for work and a better life. But now, as one of Florida's estimated 775,000 undocumented immigrants, he faces an incredibly difficult decision: either leave or wait until the state forces him to.
You know what the funniest thing is? As you see him speaking Spanish right here, you know what the most interesting thing is as a person that travels back and forth to Southern Florida and Miami and Tampa almost every other week. Actually, I just came back last weekend, and I'll be back there this weekend. As a person that travels and has immersed myself recently over the last 3 to 4 years in the Southern Florida culture, this is not abnormal. It is not abnormal to regularly walk into people that have no clue of how to speak English. They've been here for 10 years, has no clue. 18, 10, 5, 7, no clue on how to speak English. We'll tell you. We'll literally tell you. They work, your servers, you walk into them. They will tell you, I don't speak English that well. That's all they know. I don't speak English that well. Yes, see? They will tell you, I don't speak English that well. And then they speak Spanish. So much so to where when you're down there for an extended period of time, you start to figure out, or you start to realize that, I might need to speak Spanish in order to really, really thrive down here. Honestly, if you want to, it's different than visiting. Visiting, you're going to go to Miami Beach. You're going to go to all of the, the visible parts. But to actually go down there and thrive, like to be a part of it and immerse yourself in the culture, you probably need to speak, you need to speak Spanish. 775, almost more than 750,000 people living in Florida against the governor's wishes, undocumented. What's up, Q? Hey, y'all, make sure y'all tune in to Q's show tonight. We're going to be rocking out. We kicking it. 775,000 people in Florida completely undocumented.
Telling me he'll work as long as he can here until it's time to grab his stuff and go back to Mexico, adding he has no idea what is going to happen. He's in limbo because Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed a law as a way to crack down on employers that are hiring undocumented workers, requiring them to use an online database to verify legal status, banning local governments from issuing IDs to the undocumented, and requiring hospitals that accept Medicaid to ask patients about their immigration status.
I don't see that as unreasonable. I don't see that as unreasonable. It actually levels the playing field that allows for you guys to be able to make more money if you want to actually be able to compete in this economy, capitalistic, because rules are rules. So now they're requiring businesses to verify who it is that they're hiring by saying, local governments can't just issue documentation of people and IDs. If they go to the hospital in order to accept Medicaid, because anybody has just been walking in with fucking Medicaid, and then who have to pay for it? You do. Oh, not me. For those that's in the Patreon, you've seen my most recent post. For everybody that's in the Patreon, you've seen my most recent post. You know who paid for it? You do. The middle class. The middle class are the ones that's paying for the health care of the people that are undocumented and that snuck over here and is working over here illegally. You are the ones that pay for it. So now Governor DeSantis, against the liberals' perspectives, is saying, listen, we want you to verify who it is that you got working for you, and if they're going to go over into the hospital and get Medicaid and be able to pay for their problems and their issues that they came over here with, then we want you to actually verify that they are legal to be here. They're not saying, listen, we don't like you. They're saying that we just going to do things by the book and we're going to do it legally. Ain't that what y'all want?
The move's creating panic.
What the law has created is an environment of fear where people believe, that they are at risk.
Studies show immigrants make up 35% of Florida's booming construction industry, but
35, more than a third. I was over in Wynwood this past weekend, and I seen so many buildings. I'm talking about it had to be at least 6 to 8 different buildings that was all going up at the same time. 1/3 of those buildings, allegedly based off of this, the booming construction industry are hiring people that are not legal over here to work. 1/3, that's allegedly, that's an estimation, which means that it could be much higher than that.
we don't know how many of those are undocumented, while an estimated 47% of the people working Florida fields are undocumented.
So that guy in the beginning of this live stream, the guy that had $150,000 in student loan debt, remember the guy that wanted kudos for having a job? He had $150,000 in student loan debt. He said, I go to work every day. Now you got a new job. You got a new opportunity. I want my peaches. I want my bananas. I want my what do you call that? That be on the toast. I want my raisins. I want my oranges, Florida oranges. I want all of it. I want it all. 47, more than 47, at least half of everybody that is getting your peaches is coming from the undocumented workers. All right.
The Florida Policy Institute estimating losing those workers could mean an economic loss of nearly $13 billion per year.
Figure it out.
A drop of 10% of the state's total workworkse.
Figure it out.
Fidencio is one of the many migrant workers here in the farming community of Homestead.
Nice mustache.
And he said,
look, if you look at everything in the back, all of it is in Spanish.
As the consequences of the law will be felt by everyone like him. He says DeSantis is going.
Look, we don't even know what he's saying. Everybody that they're interviewing on here, they don't speak English. They've been over here for 2 decades and they don't speak a lick of English. Yo, when I was over in the Dominican Republic, me, my wife, and my daughter over there for my daughter's competition or whatever. When we was over there in the Dominican Republic, the first thing I was thinking to myself, man, if I come over here, if I was to live over here, I would have to immediately start to learn Spanish. There's no way I'm going to be in a place where I'm going to be at a disadvantage. I need to learn Spanish.
To be breaking up families.
DK said they look like the Mario brothers. Shout out to Miles Bankhead. Miles. Oh.
And it's up to God what happens next. It's something even Florida's business leaders are worried about. The people in charge of massive infrastructure projects.
That's what all of the buildings around there is looking like. They just building and building and building and building and building and building. And they got more buildings going up than the loss of the lives.
Like Daniel Kotze, whose company is tasked with developing the new Miami World Center, a 27-acre, $4 billion project, a worksite employing as many as 15,000 workers.
And it's not just in construction. You're going to see it in all types of service industries. I have a friend that owns a chain of restaurants. He says half of his staff is leaving.
Kotze says new immigration reform is needed to fix the problem.
At the end of the day, you wouldn't have the illegal immigration problem if you didn't have a lot of people that were facilitating this in our country.
Facts. And we need to cut off the faucet. And you need to stop enabling bad behavior and having illegal activity come on and letting people come in here and you don't know where they paying their taxes. You don't know where their money going. Listen, a lot of these people are actually sending money back home. They take it from the economy. The worst thing that could have ever happened in Detroit was casinos, right? And I know a lot of people will say, well, the casinos floated the economy. Most of the money that goes into the casinos here come from the locals. So the people are the ones that give their money into the casinos, and it's not really a big tourism industry here. And so it's not like Las Vegas where people bring money into the city or bring money into the state. It's people literally that live in a state that then bring money into the casinos, and then the casinos filter that money back out to the organizations out of state. And so what you're starting to find is that it's a lot of people that's benefiting individually, but you don't really know where a lot of that money is going and how it's circulating within the country. And so in order to actually solve for a problem, there's going to have to be some uncomfortability in which, yes, there's going to be some places that don't have workers and all of this other type of stuff. But the reality is that you can't force somebody to solve for a problem if they don't actually have any kind of issues that's facing them. When they start to see it as an issue, then they're going to start addressing it. Is this the solution? Probably not in its entirety. Is it a part of what it is that you need in order to force Kamala Harris over there to start having and addressing these illegal immigration debates? Absolutely. Absolutely.
The governor's office telling NBC News SB 1718 counteracts the effects of illegal immigration in Florida, adding any business that exploits this crisis by employing illegal aliens instead of Floridians will be held accountable. But advocates looking out for those migrants and Florida's economy say the new law will be a devastating blow to Florida's crucial
Cheryl Riley. I did a whole breakdown on that. Cheryl, of why I do not invest in Florida's real estate economy. Why I will never, ever buy a property in Florida. Investment property, personal property, why I will never, ever buy a property in Florida. You are 100% right. And people was looking at me like, really? Really? And then other people start paying attention. Was like, yeah. Now I start seeing other bigger YouTubers that's saying that, no, I need to get up out of here. I'll live here, but I'm not going to own anything here. Let's continue.
A lot of these businesses in the agriculture industry are going to have to grapple with the idea of closing shop.
Not too many people are in line for those jobs. So there's going to be a big void.
Governor DeSantis, who's running for president, sees the immigration law as a blueprint for the entire country.
We've established here in Florida a blueprint for success that other states can follow.
Leaving the path ahead for Jesus and others just like him unclear as they hope to find a new home where they can build a new life.
And I'm always wondering, with these people that's been over here for 2 decades. Hey, Intelligent Design, send me that. I'm not familiar with it. When we have these people that's over here for 2 decades, are you telling me that there was no pathway to becoming a legal resident that actually pays taxes with a social security number and all of that? Or are you telling me that these people was just stayed here as long as they possibly could in order to get as much resources and money from it, and then now they feel like they have some entitlement to determine what happens here? I'm always curious, like, what is the immigration process, and how long would it have took for them to actually find a pathway to becoming a legal resident in the United States of America?
And Guad joins me now from Miami. So, Guad, what options do these folks have on the table now that this law is going to affect in just a few hours?
Well, Lindsay, some of them can stay in the state of Florida. You know, they have been working in the state of Florida illegally. To be clear, it isn't legal to work anywhere in the U.S. for anyone that is undocumented. And the guys I spoke with, both Jesus and Fidencio, told me, you know, there's ways to find work where maybe they don't ask for documents and we can still stay here. So they can stay and wait and see how this plays out, see if the state will be able to enforce these new laws, or they can move to another state. Again, they would still be working illegally somewhere else. The difference is other states have not chosen to crack down on employers because, let's be clear here, elephant in the room in the U.S., when you look at the workforce, agriculture industry, service industry, and construction industry, they depend on undocumented workers, and it's been like that for many years. So we'll have to wait and see what happens in Florida and what type of enforcement can be done by the state once this law begins. Lindsay.
All right.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. So shout out to Jesus. I'm sure he'll probably just move over into another state. Shout out to the people over there in Florida. Shout out to DeSantis that's actually doing things I think that's dope for the state. And they ripping off the Band-Aid in order to address some ugly issues. Let me read a few more super chats, and then I'm going to get y'all up out of here for the day because we had a phenomenal show. We got a show tonight, and we got a show tomorrow. Shout out to Mr. Showtime 982 that come from battle rap culture. It's showtime. A lot of y'all not familiar with that. Shout out to Mr. Showtime. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you for supporting the platform. You are absolutely awesome. Also, shout out to all of the cash appers and people that's holding us down. Again, make sure you tap into that Teach Hanley 30% off your first order plus a free gift. If you have not joined the Patreon, the link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It is an absolute positive, great investment into yourself, and it is cheap as hell. $15. $15. And you get it popping. Also, let me give a shout out to all of the bag chasers, the new bag chasers. I appreciate y'all. Should I raise the price of the Patreon? Yeah, A-Verb. Y'all know about A-Verb. It's showtime. Hey, should I raise the price of the Patreon? I've been keeping it pre-recession, pre-pandemic prices. Honestly, I'm genuinely curious. Should I raise the price of the bag? Because I told y'all that the $9 tier was going away, and people are holding on to that for dear life. People are holding on to the $9 tier for dear life. So now I'm wondering if I should just cut off the $15 tier and create a whole nother tier because it, like, you know, grandfather you in. So like if you were part of the $15 tier, then you could just stay a part of that tier. If you're a part of the $9 tier, you stay a part of that tier. You still are on the list in order to get to the seat at the table. You got to be a part of the other tiers in order to even be able to get invited into the seat at the table. And as spots open up for that, I make it available to everybody. Everybody is saying no. Couple yeses, mostly no's. All right, so people saying no price increase. All right, so that's cool. I took a general pulse of what people is saying, and so yeah, I keep it like it is. I'm cool. I ain't tripping off that. All right, so listen, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure y'all continue to hit a like for the YouTube algorithm. You guys are the greatest. Rita is saying yes. Rita keep telling me, Anton, you need to raise the price of the brick because people don't appreciate it. But yeah, we cool. We cool. I'm not gonna raise it up. I fight my wife. When me and my wife fight, we fight to make sure that I add the most value on the behalf of y'all. All right. So I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all for continuing to rock out with me. Again, we are doing a live stream tomorrow. I don't care if it's fucking 4th of July. And then on top of that, I will be live streaming tonight on the other channel with Q. So we doing that, and it's gonna be popping. I need y'all to do me one more favor before we get up out of here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you share this with your family and friends. We don't want to be successful and rich by ourselves. I love you. I appreciate you. You guys are the greatest audience that I've ever seen and heard of in my entire life. Congratulations to the new bag chasers. I'm happy to have you as a part of the family. I will be dropping a video today, and then tomorrow we're going to be announcing, either tomorrow or the next day, we're going to be announcing more details about the meetup in New York. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm going to holler at y'all later. Peace.